It is 10 a.m. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, sir.
Commissioner Buckley.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Commissioner Cater.
Here.
Quorum is present.
As you wish, please stand for the pledge and the invocation. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, please be with us as we go through this meeting. Keep us all safe as we go on our way. Just allow us to do the best that we can for the county. I ask this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. The consent agenda is as noted, approval of last week's minutes, monthly report from both the recorder of deeds and the treasurer, sales tax report from the treasurer, and awarded job bid for a bucket truck operator, road and bridge. Motion?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
There is one table agenda item, we'll get to it later in the meeting. Opening of bids for the windows for courthouse. Do you have bids?
Yes, we have 3 bids.
Okay. These will be open in public, and then the auditor and the clerk's office will look at each one of them to make sure that all the qualifications are met for the bids. And then possibly next week we'll award those bids.
Are there any representatives from these companies here? That would like to
Does
take-
anybody here want to see the bids? Colin, you want to come up? As soon as they're, somebody else?
Yes.
Okay. As soon as they're laid out, you can come up and photograph them.
Photograph them and then move on.
Yeah, is that all of them? Okay, you can come up, representatives, and view them.
John, would you like to take pictures of them?
Anybody here from the 3rd firm?
You're welcome to photograph them.
You should know what yours says.
Yeah. Got that one.
You got a copy, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to the next item. Thank you for the bids. Application for equipment grant from the Sheriff's Department. Jamie, you gonna do that, or Sheriff, you gonna do that? What?
Equipment?
Equipment grant. Dan, you gonna do this?
You've got 2 grant apps that you've asked us to put on the agenda for permission to apply for them.
Yes, one of those is a traffic safety grant for the officer for equipment, just for equipment for the officers, no match on that. Secondary grant, I don't know exactly which one that is. Kevin, do you have that?
Let's review it.
Jamie, have you got it?
I think that's the one he's talking about. Here's for the roadway safety. Dan, I don't have my glasses, so you're up.
I can hold it over here and you can read it.
No, I couldn't hold it.
Yeah, this is the only one that I'm aware of. This is the one, unless we hadn't put on the agenda twice. maybe
Yeah.
we might have done that.
Oh,
Buck has one and you had one.
the one we found out that we thought we were gonna have to get approved by the commissioners, we found out we don't. It's in purchase of products. It's the public safety grant. We got the block grant for emergency equipment for patrol cars. It doesn't require a bid because we bought it off. It's an annual bid. It's an annual bid, so we don't have to have permission. We found that out going through the auditor's office.
So it's just this one that you have to have permission for
Correct.
you to apply for?
Correct.
Okay.
And that's a no match?
This is a no match, to the Missouri Department of Roadway Safety.
Okay.
And it will be for things like, radar units, traffic safety type of things. And like I say, it's a no match grant. We just have to apply for it. Pretty simple, one-page grant. It'll be a done deal.
So you need approval.
We just get
Of
approval
us.
to apply.
Okay,
I make a motion that we give, the sheriff's department approval to apply for the grant, no match grant, for the roadway safety.
And it's, this doesn't mean we have to take it if it comes down, there's something, some reason we don't want it, we don't have to take it, but we just want permission to apply.
okay, second,
I'll second that.
questions? Yes,
Dan, could we get a copy of that application before it's submitted to review?
You could have, or did, except Linda just took it away from us. Yes, we'll get you one.
Thank you.
okay, any other questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Jamie, thank you. Updating, memorandum of understanding, Sherry, you wanna talk about that?
Yes, sir. We've already bidded out treatment services for the family treatment court. However, since we bid those services, the provider has become DMH certified, so we needed to update that in the MOU, as well as for the past 2 years, we have self-contracted a service coordinator, and she is retiring, so we would like for our treatment provider to provide that position for us at a cost from the grant. This would be no cost to the county, it would all be paid for out of the grant.
Okay, motion,
I make that motion of the updating of the MOU for the family treatment court.
I'll second that.
any questions? Hit or hard
Thank you.
questions? No. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thanks.
That's Sherry Hampton, by the way. Hire additional engineering firm for county business.
We have not received anything from SSC. I sent an email back out to them.
Yeah. We got the contract and there were some hazy areas on it, and we haven't gotten it updated yet, so we'll table this item for another week.
So you want that table till next week,
Hopefully we'll get
Yeah.
something.
along with the RFP?
Well, that's coming up, yeah. Okay, request to waive penalty and interest on personal property, Mr. Castle or Castillo, I'm not sure. How do you pronounce that, sir?
Castel,
Castel, thank you.
yeah. I've lived in about 3 or 4 states in my 76 years, and I've never had this problem come up before. I was doing my taxes, and I didn't have my personal property tax to file. So I called over here, and they said, well, you never paid it. I said, well, I never got a bill. They said, well, that's not the issue. You're responsible. I said, every state I've lived in, they've always tracked me down and sent me a bill for personal property tax. And now they want to fine me $50 for being late. Never got the bill. I've licensed 3 cars in this county in the last year and a half. You would think that they'd catch up with me sooner or later. So my request is to eliminate this $50 fine, because it's supposedly late, but really not. That's my story, I'm sticking to it.
Have you paid the taxes yet?
I tried, they sent it back to me.
Okay. The way we look at that is to waive penalty and interest on taxes, we have these 2 questions. Is the problem the county's fault? And we didn't have your address. We didn't have it. So we couldn't send the mail to you.
I've been living here for a year and a half.
We didn't have did you file a change of address
With who?
with the county?
Why?
That's a requirement.
In the state of Missouri?
And, yeah,
I've moved several times and never had to do that.
that's the, Pam, you wanna address that rule, or?
It is the Missouri statute is the responsibility of the individual to make sure he's on the books and pays his taxes.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, anyway, that's what we have to go by. And, taxes haven't been paid, so do I have a motion to waive the penalty and interest? We need to make a motion and then make it in a positive manner. Waive the penalty and interest, but then you vote the way you wish.
Or it fail for lack thereof motion, correct?
Yeah, and when you make the motion in the positive manner, then a yes means yes and a no means no. There's a reason for that. So it's very
You don't
clear.
have to make a motion, correct, if you want.
You don't have to make a motion. If you want to go to bed, then you can make the motion and vote against the motion. You do that.
Okay.
All right. So make a motion to waive the penalty and interest of taxes for Mr. Castell.
Okay. Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions?
I have a question. Mr. Castillo, how did you get your license without providing your tax receipt?
I guess they looked it up.
But if you weren't on file, how did they look it up?
I've been paying taxes for 76 years. Most recently in St. Louis County.
But you said you licensed your vehicle.
I licensed 3 cars in this county in the last year and a half. You would think that they would pick up something and send me a notice. Somebody dropped the ball in my estimation, and it wasn't me.
What was your prior address?
16031 Clarkson Woods, Chesterfield, Missouri.
And you did an address change when you moved through the postal service?
Yes.
That's, if you had your vehicles registered, that should have sent you mail to that registered address, so.
Pam, do you have the address now?
The assessor's office has court ordered him on the books, so he does have a bill now, with a Park Hills address.
That the 205 Black Oak Drive?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And the reason he was able to get licensed before, because if the Department of Revenue looked up his previous taxes for the last year, he paid them in St. Louis County, or St. Louis City. And so that's, or he had his receipt with him when he went to the License Bureau.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. All in
So,
favor?
well, you go ahead if you would do this individually, since the motion's made tongue in cheek, in other words,
Okay.
in opposition, so that if somebody does. So, can I call for the vote then?
Sure.
All right. Commissioner Cater,
No.
Commissioner Gallagher,
No.
Commissioner Butler,
No.
Rio.
I'm sorry,
The
sir.
motion-
We decided not to waive the penalty and interest for the taxes. And you do have current address, right? Okay, thank you. Okay, Trail of Tears National Historic Trail, Ms. Wood has called, she can't make it today, so, but there will be a public meeting tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. in Long Park in Farmington. So, anyway, table agenda item from last week is a request for proposal from work updates on the county jail. Now, since we don't have the information back on that other item about hiring the county, a new engineering firm, we need to hold off on this one too, because that one affects the other. So
We will put both on
We'll
the
both table both.
table agenda.
Sure, the next week we'll have the answers on that contract. Next regular meeting, right here next week. Other business, correspondence. Public comments.
My name is Steve Pasternak, and I'm here to talk about Rice Road. I've been here for the last 2 meetings, and I've got something to add to it. And first of all, at the last meeting on 6/1, I asked Mr. Gallagher about informing the media of a meeting that was on a meeting that was proposed to all of the people that were involved with Rice Road issue could meet and voice their opinions. And then on the next day, 5/26, there was a major thing that was done on Tom Bowick's easement. Tree was removed.
Okay.
There was a road that was cut in, and going back, to that meeting on 6/1, and I got this on YouTube. I've gone through it several times, and I can go to the second. At 27:20, Mr. Gallagher says that this started back on October 13th.
27:20, what's that?
At
The
27 minutes and
minutes.
20
Oh, okay,
seconds.
okay.
Okay, and you made the statement that this all started back on October 13th. And you said that we gave the Lowe's the land by action of committee.
Okay.
Now, first of all, I don't think we're in the land giving business around here. I don't think you can just give land away, so
Okay.
that wasn't correct. And then at 27:40, which was 20 seconds later, Mr. Gallagher said that somewhere in the line, was it Ameren? John Gross said, uh-huh. And they had a work order, and Mr. Gallagher said to do the work for it, just so happened the day after the meeting. So you said that you had a work order.
No.
from-
No, not us. We didn't say that. We didn't have the work order.
But you did say Ameren.
I believe it was.
It's the company doing the work, it's the
It was for.
developer had a work order and had that tree removed, Lost Creek.
Mr. Gallagher said Ameren.
Well, it's,
Specifically.
okay, they had Ameren with the work order. Whoever had the work order, Lost Creek did the work order.
Well-
Or Ameren,
Before I go on, if you
Yes.
knew this, why didn't you correct Mr. Gallagher at that meeting?
because that's what he said.
So if you-
Ameren knew he had the work, okay, Ameren knew he had the work order. We didn't get the work order. Ameren knew he had the work order through Lost
Oh,
Creek.
okay, so Ameren UE had
Okay.
the work order through Lost Creek, okay.
We didn't.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to see a copy of the work order from Ameren.
That's Ameren.
But you'd
To
have to
remove
contact
a
them.
tree and cut a road on Tom Bullock's easement.
Easement?
Yeah. Mr. Bullock has a deed with that easement on it.
Yes.
Okay, but you said that there was a work order through Ameren to remove this tree on this easement.
Okay,
Is that correct?
that would be correct to me. You have to check with Ameren.
Well,
Go ahead.
well, first of all, I've checked with Ameren,
Okay.
and there's no record of a work order with Ameren. And I've gone up the line as far as I can go.
Did you contact Lost Creek?
That's not mine. I'm interested in,
Check with people.
I'm interested in our side of the fence and not, but all I know is that something's wrong here. I mean, I was told that Ameren, I checked with Ameren and there's no work order. Now, someone's, you know, there's.
You would have to check with Lost Creek and all the players in Steve. We're not the players in this.
But you told me, that you was.
Okay,
said Ameren.
Lost Creek called us and said that they had a work order with Ameren 3 weeks prior to this move.
Well,
That's all I know.
Ameren told me they're not in the tree removal business.
They are if it's in the power line.
They're not.
Well, they have contractors.
They have
to do that.
contractors, yes.
Townsend will have.
Heavy
Shade
shade
tree.
tree.
They, yeah, and they trim, but they are not in the tree removal business.
They contract that work out.
I get you.
And I was told in 31 years, there had been 2 trees removed that the person I talked to knew of. Or was supplying the information, so something's not right here. And it looks to me like, you know, as I said before, Tom Bullock, one day he leaves, and then when he gets back, you know, his road is cut for him that he didn't want, and a tree that he'd been taking care of was removed, so
Had Mr. Bullock been paying taxes on that easement?
it's on his deed.
Has he been paying taxes on that portion of the easement?
Well, I don't know, but I'll get to you in a
They
second
don't
about
pay
that.
taxes on the easement, correct? It's just a portion,
It's
Well,
on his
like-
deed, it's,
it's a 60-foot road easement.
It runs through his
Mhm.
property,
all the way to the fence.
you know, map easements.
Right.
Yes.
But that, it's not taxed. When they pay a property tax, it's not the easement portion of it.
Should be.
According to Danny, it was not.
It wasn't.
The taxes hadn't been paid on that portion.
I
he's lived here since 2009. That's when he
Yes.
moved it. Now, I've got to come back to you in a second.
Okay.
And then at 3650, Jeff Rasnick asked, did the county own that property? Jeff's not here today, he's up in St. Louis and couldn't be here, but he asked that question, and Mr. Gallagher says, at the same time, Mr. Cater said, it's an easement. And then Mr. Gallagher said, it's a county easement, and David Cater said yes. And then at 4910, John Gross, he says that I went down to the recorder's office and I found all the information. Now that's what you said.
Yep.
Okay.
Same information that you have.
No, because I went down to the recorder's office and I couldn't find anything.
We did. We've got it in writing.
Well, let me go on then. And, you know, I want to know, first of all, does the county own Rice Road?
Nope. County has a maintenance, they maintain Rice Road. When that was given over, we don't know when, it could have been late 70s, could have been early 80s, it was before my time, it was before Clay's time. So what's gonna have to happen, it's gonna have to go through every minute from the 70s, from the 80s. May not be in there, it may be a handshake, but we are receiving county aid road trust funds from MoDOT for the maintenance of Rice and Adams Road.
And also on their deed, doesn't it say for road maintenance or extension?
Construction.
Construction
Yes.
or maintenance on their deed, on their deed.
On the easement.
Yes.
Well, here,
You have a copy of the
Yes.
60 by 137 sitting in front of you for the section in question that the city of Deloge acquired before they started in here.
you know, and the Deloge City Minutes on 12/14/20 says that the county does not have records or deed to the area of Rice Road and are not interested in paying for a survey. And Mr. Bryan stated he had talked to City Attorney Scott Reed about this, and he stated the city would have to have a survey, legal description, and a quitclaim deed. Now, for this Lost Creek, or first of all, where's the quitclaim deed?
You gotta go to this.
You got a copy of the legal in front of you.
Yes, got the legal, but, I mean, if you've got questions about it, that sounds like city. Sounds like you need to be talking to Dan and Dave.
Well, it sounds to me like it's been handled here through St. Francis County, and you're wanting to put the blame on the
Not putting
city.
the blame on them at all.
Well, all I know is,
And you was mayor when
Yes.
this happened.
Yes, it was, yes.
well, all I know is that you can't find the information, and we don't think that the county, there's no proof that you own, or however you want to say, about Rice Road. You know, this handshake thing don't add up. I mean, that might work on Gunsmoke, you know, where you have
So the
a hand-
$1,200 you guys put in the road, who came to them after that? And you guys aren't the ones with the road, so I'm asking the wrong question, so I need to ask them.
Well, probably most of the people that were
When they put
involved.
$1,200
are-
down, why did they put $1,200 down? To turn that
They
road
had it
over.
asphalt, they had it asphalted, and then
Why'd they have it
Yes,
asphalted?
there's a reason.
they had it asphalted to cover up rock.
To get it
Turn the
county
road
spec
over to
county
the
No,
county.
they didn't do it county spec, they paid, you know, they paid a private contractor, they didn't pay the county. They probably paid a private contractor to come in and put asphalt down on it.
To bring it up to turn over to the county.
You'd have to show it. You-
I live on Dustin Court, and that road was paved, and it wasn't paved with the intentions of,
And how long you doing that?
say it again, sir,
How long have you lived there?
a couple of years, but it doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Dust-
I'm sorry, I don't have that gentleman's name.
Yes.
Right.
My name's Jason Cox.
Yes.
Jason Cox?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Dustin Court's not a county maintained
It's not.
road. It's a private.
Private.
My question is, I've got you saying this, if you went to the recorder's office and you found all the info, I'd like to get a copy of, you know, showing how the county owns Rice Road, when you acquired it, and how you acquired it, and this quitclaim deed, because you have a recorder of deeds.
Yeah.
Where's the quit claim deed? I
I got
checked
copies
and-
of them right here.
Pardon?
I have copies of the book claims right here
To that, for this,
for sections of that Rice Road. It's still not gonna show that we own Rice Road. As I explained before, county does not own easements in certain roadways.
Now, I'm
We do
talking-
for MoDOT.
now I'm
MoDOT
talking about the
roadways.
quit claim deed that needed to be had in order
We
to
don't have
cut
to
this
have-
in there. Where's that? Because, I mean, there's gotta be, in St. Francis County, it has to be filed.
Then we'd have to show it for every piece of property on Rice Road or Adams Road. Because we maintain those sections of roadway. It's the same easement.
You know, that has, you know, this is, you're trying to compare a grape to a watermelon. That's not true, you know, you're saying what went on with Adams Road. No, you know, that's, you know, Tom Bullock has got a deed where the easement is listed on that property, and it all went on before he moved there in 2009, so there should be proof. Why would keep you from doing that to any road? Just going down and start, you know, and saying, well, we had a handshake with that guy, and we're just honoring our handshake. I don't.
The easement's on the deed that he signed when he bought the property.
Who?
Mr. Tom Bullock.
We're talking about Lost Creek coming
I'm
across.
talking about the easement. That's where we're starting
No,
out.
I'm talking about how did Lost Creek come over and under the guise that it was Ameren, and to come over and remove the tree.
Steve, call it Lost Creek. Steve, you're in the wrong place for that.
No, David, I'm not in the wrong place for that because you have used that. But,
If you want to talk about easement, if you want to talk about what the county can and cannot do, I understand that. If you want to talk about what Lost Creek did, or what they had a work order for, you'll have to talk to them and Ameren. That sounds like two players that aren't here.
I'm sure you know what went on.
Well, I don't know what.
Well, okay, I need to go on. I've got to,
No accusations here.
Well, I'm not accusing. I mean, I'm sure he knows what went on.
Well,
Because,
moving along.
okay, we'll go on. I want to know, does St. Francis County have some written policy for roads, which addresses how you handle easements, how you handle road abandonments, and how you handle road acquisitions? I'd like to see it. Do you have a
Sir,
written
when I
policy?
came into office, the policy manual hadn't been touched since 1992. And so we updated our policies and we're working on that still. So that particular policy, I don't think is in there, but we're working.
Road abandonment is a state statute.
Yes.
And it has to be listed for 90 days. So that is Missouri state statute, which is gonna supersede county policy.
That's abandonment.
Abandonment.
Now,
Now,
acquisition is done by a vote of the commission.
which we don't do now. It may have been done 20, 30 years ago, you know, the county acquiring roads or subdivisions. But
Like I
And
said,
you don't have a
policy-
written policy to handle it? I mean,
state statute
when you said that
covers
you worked,
abandonment.
how long have you been in office?
I'm in my 6th year.
You mean tell me 6 years and there's no
Sir, we
policy?
have worked hard on this, don't be.
Well, you know, I'm just telling you, you know, something
If you
that
had any
important.
idea what we've got done, you would
If-
back up on that.
If something this important, and there's 5 days to a week,
There's 7 days a week.
there's 5 days to a work week, but you're
7
right,
days hours.
people can work 7.
There's 7 days to ours, we're on call all the time.
On call doesn't mean you actually work.
All right, come on, let's talk about the
Okay,
business.
well, I'm saying, you know, I'm trying to say it's 6 years for a policy, I just can't believe it.
Everything we've talked about today.
Okay, what about this? What about, is there a written policy regarding flow charts with administrative things like, can road and bridge go and discuss stuff with people before they get input from the commission, or?
We do it every day.
Every day, every day.
So
As a
there-
first-class county, the highway administrator has control of the roads and bridges. But all of that
Well, where's it go after that?
to our guys. But
To our crews.
out of respect for the commissioners, they're always involved in anything we do as far as a project. So if you read the state statute on first-class counties, non-chartered, the highway administrator has control of the roads and bridges.
But my question is, do you have some kind of written policy about this? Because like.
No,
It's a
as it
state
goes-
statute.
It's a state
No,
statute.
The state does. We
It's a
adhere-
state statute.
We adhere to what the
But they
state
can't.
requires us to do.
But I'm talking about whenever you do something and it goes to the commissioners.
Like
and
if we
then
take a
goes
tree
to-
out on an easement on a road, like if we have someone comes and asks us to remove a tree, and we go do, no, we just do it. We know we can, we do
I
it.
think you had that done.
Well,
Steve, is there, I hate that, we can beat this to death and we can do whatever, but is there anything that we haven't asked yet? I don't mean to take control of this meeting, but,
That's all right.
is there anything that you have that we need to know that's new to this? And
well, it
any
is
other
new.
questions?
What I said, you know.
Yeah, and we answered those, so is there
Well,
anything
without,
else that you
you know,
haven't, we haven't heard?
I think that there, you know, for you to say that it was Ameren, and Ameren tells me they weren't involved in this.
That's
I didn't-
incorrect.
Yeah, thank you.
That's incorrect.
Well, our sources are different.
And as we've stated before.
That statement is incorrect.
And as we've stated before, the county has given permission for Lost Creek to improve 137 feet of roadway that we are not gonna spend taxpayer dollars on through road and bridge. And it will be the oversight will be the city of Deloche.
Within the easement.
But-
So that's why we do not know what is going on with Ameren, with Shade Tree.
With Lost
Okay.
Creek.
But who is this for benefit of?
Steve,
County
have
residents?
have you talked to Lost Creek at all? Have you talked to Dan Chapman and the Lost Creek crew? I don't know, Steve, they were
This
put
is-
in 50,
But I wanna know, who is
75
this
houses.
for benefit for? Because I
The-
don't
The
think.
county as a whole, if you
The
wanna look
county.
at it.
The county.
Well, then why wasn't the county told about it before it happened? Why did you let the county?
Anytime someone wants to access one of our roadways or one of our easements, we don't advertise it, we allow people to do that.
No, I'm talking about what you did on Rice Road. You didn't just, one day, decided it, and the next day it was done. This had to be the way it takes for 6 years to make a policy. I mean, it takes days.
Okay, that's-
Days, it
No.
takes days in order.
Yes.
That's enough. You're accusing me of not doing anything
I
for
didn't
6
accuse
years.
you of
And
anything.
if you had any idea, the things we've gotten done in that 6 years.
I didn't accuse, didn't bring your name up about it.
No, but you're pointing right at me and.
I wasn't pointing
Okay,
at
yes,
you.
you were. Now, we've had,
Well,
yes.
I would like
just
to.
gonna- I was just gonna say one thing. Obviously, there's nothing gonna get resolved in this meeting.
Right.
So it's either gonna have to go legal, whatever has to be the next step, because we're not gonna meet in the middle.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, it's probably gonna have that happen.
Well,
But I think this
okay.
is something that
Okay,
didn't have to happen.
Hold up. The last time, at the last meeting, you also, or your, Mr. Jarvis, I think it was,
Referred to.
threatened a lawsuit. Now you're averting that.
Well-
So that's fine. We hope it doesn't go there, but we haven't talked, but I am not ready to make any changes what's been done. I don't know what these two guys think about it.
Well, I think there's, you know, someone here that, that's involved with this, that has their opinions, and,
Okay.
you know, this is an open forum,
Yes.
so.
And we appreciate it. I told you, you come to any meeting you want to, but the same questions are getting asked, and it's not, it's a county road easement, guys, that's what we're doing the work in. It says on the deeds, it's for construction, widening, whatever, so.
The legal you have in front of you
we're-
for the 137.6, it says 60-foot road easement. And then it goes on to explain
So-
the Ameren UE easement.
Yes.
If you wanna read it, you can, just
What's the date of this? Do you remember?
the city of Deloche had that done in
Yeah.
2012, March 17 of 2012,
Well, it's
because
there.
they're the oversight of the project.
Okay.
2012.
Or, I mean, 2021, sorry.
2021.
2021, sorry.
But if Ameren did not request something to be done on that,
That's them, that's
That's
Lost
not
Creek.
information we would have.
I would reach out to Lost Creek, guys, if you wanna
Reach
start
out to
somewhere,
Shade
reach
Tree.
out to Shade Tree, Lost Creek, Ameren.
Shade Tree would have been subcontract.
we know who the truck was.
So-
We know who it was.
I don't know if you guys have reached out to Lost Creek, have you, tell them your concerns?
The day they were doing the work, there were representatives from there.
Well, I know that, Bullock was at his house, to be honest with you, so he knew what was going on, he was at the house that day, so if he talked to him, he might have found out some information.
Well, the information you've presented today has been presented before. Nothing new here.
No, there was new stuff.
Well, about the,
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
about the
Joy.
last meeting.
It wasn't Ameren that had the work order.
Okay, but, and that was a mistake on my part. I guess I was inferring that through that chain of command, it was Ameren.
You know, the thing about this, whenever you, and this went out to the media, this had nothing with me that I'm, you know, asserting this. I mean, when KFMO.com puts this on there, somebody could have called off the dogs immediately. And they could have been, somebody standing there at daylight said, hey, don't cut this in yet, because we've got a lot of people that are concerned, and we need to hear their opinion. Now, that was a proper thing to do.
But I didn't know they were coming out that day. I had no idea.
Nor did we.
Oh, I think if you go back and you look, you can see
Well, I just thought you
where
got-
you guys said, they might already be there. They might be there. We don't
And
know.
I told them they could have done the work in the past week, they could have done the work tomorrow, they could have done the work today. I
So
said
you
that.
knew that there was 3 weeks. The work order was.
I said they could, yeah, because we gave them the okay
A month
ago.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think what we're trying to establish
Yes.
here though is, did you have the authority to give them that easement?
It's no different if we would've went in and
Yeah.
put the road in, but we were not gonna spend taxpayers' dollars to improve a 137-foot of roadway when they're willing to do it.
But I thought the roadway had to be up to specs for you to take over, and there was
We're
no
not taking it
road
over.
after that.
They're bringing that
specs.
section up to specs.
So if that's it, the road ends here and then there's grass, you can just give that away.
We're not giving it away. They're improving 137 feet of roadway.
That we will continue to maintain, just like we do all of the rest of Rice Road.
Well, it was given away because I read to you back in a meeting where he said, we give this to the city of Duluth. Now, that comment is,
It was a transfer.
Yes.
First it was an
13.
abandonment,
The first
and
part-
then you two had it
It was never an
changed.
abandonment,
It was until the end of that meeting when they rescinded.
because
the
that was
abandonment.
misspoke. It should never have been an abandonment. We're not giving the road away. If that was the case, then all of Rice and Adams would have been given away.
Well, then somebody said something about a transfer.
Have you guys tried to, oh, sorry, have you guys contacted the people that made that decision in their mind and asked them what they, those are the two that aren't here either.
Did the commission have the authority to give that piece of ground?
We're not giving it away.
So then it's you. Then if it's your land, that's okay. Everybody can do this. Whatever they do is okay.
What do you
Even if
mean?
they're not doing it right.
Okay, but hold it. Sir?
The only thing I really have to add, guys, I mean, I'm not here to question anybody's credibility or integrity or anything like that. I'm just concerned that the appropriate policy wasn't followed here in the giving or allowing them to use the easement or whatever. I feel like a lot of the statutes, policies, and rules are ancient history. As you said, you know, some of these policies and easements were made years and years ago.
Most were made in the 20s. There's been some revised in the 80s.
Well, and I appreciate the revisions, but this is a modern problem that deserves a modern solution. And I feel like we probably all need to collectively get together. There's a lot of questions that are unanswered. Nobody can give a straight answer, and you know, you don't know one thing, say they ask Lost Creek. Lost Creek don't know, they say ask
He's done right
Cameron,
work
you
for
guys
it,
say
though.
ask them. And I'm not saying, it's just we're all ill-informed, we're all, I think, not on the same page, and we need to all sit down collectively, have a special meeting in regards just to this project. And let's all trace our steps and make sure everything's being done legally in the best interest of the taxpayers and the best interest of everybody involved, so that way we don't end up in some sort of legal issue to where we're all spending taxpayers' money on attorneys, you know, that we're spending our money on attorneys. It doesn't make sense. We're all level-headed civil people, I think. I think if we all get together, we can sit down and come up with a modern solution to this problem.
Well, what would that,
But Joyce-
what would be an example of that solution?
So all the questions that you can't answer that you've been asked and that you gave
Which
different
is-
answers to, we sit down and we get those questions on paper and we write the answers down and we all sit and discuss it together. Same for everybody.
Right, but Joy's question is, if you
I'm not-
have the right,
I'm not
no, no, no,
Joy's that-
but this is one of the questions she asked, I think, if I'm not mistaken. If we wanna give that contractor permission to do work within that easement of something that our gentlemen could do themselves without the taxpayers paying any amount for, yes, we're well in our right to let them do that work. If that's what you're talking about, yes, we're well in to let them do the work.
I'm also concerned about the easement. I mean, I spoke with somebody from Ameren this morning. Like I said, not trying to stoke a fire by any means, but I'm trying to protect my family
Yes.
and my privacy, not having a ton of traffic driving through my neighborhood. You know, an easement is an easement. It's like a use or lose thing. You only have so much time to use an easement, especially with Ameren. I think he said it was 3 or 5 years that they can use their easement,
not in
or it
county
goes
or
back to where
state.
it belongs. I don't know. I'm ill-informed, just the
Depends on
same
the
as a lot of you
easement.
guys are.
That depends on that particular one.
Well, and as we maintain the roadway, I know there's been some ditch work done, I believe it's Mr. Johnson's property, at least to the south, within the last 5
Yes.
years. There's been ditch work done there. Now, I know you've stated before that we don't come through there and mow away the grass. If you guys wanna let your grass grow to 4 feet tall along the roadway, we'll mow it twice a year like we do the rest of the county road. But I don't think that's something that you guys wish to see in your front yard. So you mow your, up to the roadway.
And just because you mow it don't mean it's yours. If you mowed it for 20 years, it don't mean it's yours. It just means that you chose to mow it. We would mow it like we would any other county road, as John said.
You know, to clear out the area a little bit, we are allowing, you know, I'll talk to you guys, we're allowing that contractor to come in, instead of the county spending $100,000 to improve 137 feet of roadway by the time it's ditched and everything, we're allowing that contractor to do that instead of the county doing the work themselves.
Sure.
It's definitely something that we could do, but we could pave 1.5 miles of road with $100,000. And right now, we need to pave all the roads we can.
I understand.
You know what
that.
I mean?
My
John,
two,
let's
my
cut
two
to the
concerns
chase.
with
That road was not gonna be used for anything other than Lost Creek. Now, those two, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Bullock, their property goes all the way back to the fence. There's not gonna be anything that can be built there. That road does not need, it's sit there for years, nobody needs to use it. Whenever people walk it, they hit that road and stop at where the asphalt stops. They don't walk out in this area that those people take care of. It looks just like a little park. People don't know where this road, not road, we know where it stops, but they don't know where their property stops and starts.
Okay,
Because-
okay, let's
but-
draw this thing to a close.
But my question,
Steve,
you're
you said all
interrupting me.
this before.
But no,
And I will interrupt you if you keep dragging the meeting out. You said all.
I'm not dragging the meeting out,
Yes,
but I
you
wanna
are.
know, I'm answering, asking John, you said that you're allowing them to improve county roads so that you all don't have any investment in it. Is that right?
Yes.
Let me ask you this, with all this heavy-duty equipment that's gonna be coming through and tearing those roads up, are you going to find the bucks to do that? And
We'll
how
have
much
to.
more how much more than 137 feet is gonna be affected if all those roads get tore up? Adams Road and Rice Road.
If they do, we'll
As
fix them.
as he said, his road that adjoins Adams was not poured for heavy traffic or multiple traffic, is that correct?
Nobody's gonna, why would they be cutting?
His road's
through yours?
private, that's
Why would they be
irrelevant
cutting
as
through
far as
Trevor,
what-
right? Trevor.
But it's just like Adams, or it's
You
just
don't
like
have a report?
Rice.
Dustin, I'm sorry. I put Trevor.
There's several places throughout the county that I'm not gonna name specifically that are looking for future improvement, am I right, Harold?
Yes.
Not something we planned this year for, you know, an overlay or upgrades to the roadway. It's not something we knew about, but as the county grows, it's just something that we have to deal with.
I appreciate you guys saying that, you know, if there is any damage done to the roads
We
from the
will,
traffic,
because
you will fix it.
we understand, I mean, it happens on a daily basis.
At the same time, guys, it's unnecessary. I feel like that's a complete waste of taxpayers' money on top of that. It's if we don't use that road for purposes that it wasn't built for, I don't understand why we would need to waste the money on doing it.
I understand that, but
Hawthorne, Old Bonterre Road has big trucks going up and down it all day
Okay.
long. You guys built that road, or whoever built that road has built it to withstand that.
well, and it still
there's a-
doesn't withstand it because we've had to do.
It doesn't, but there's no need to
upgrades.
tear up two roads, you know? Like, we've already got one road that you guys have to constantly repair, why make a second?
Because
It
it's a
just
county
doesn't
road
make
and
sense.
anybody can use it.
I can understand it's a county
You know
road
what
that
I mean?
anybody can use, but why, you know? Like,
Well,
But, I mean, that's anywhere though,
With,
development
you have to
anywhere.
understand from Road and Bridge's standpoint, and I said this at a prior meeting a few weeks ago. Road and Bridge is not opposed to this improvement, nor are we promoting it. Realize that. We are approaching this as we would anyone that's wanting to access one of our county roads, for whatever reason that may be. It doesn't matter to us. If they wanna access our county roads, we're going to allow that. And that's where John and I stand from the road and bridge standpoint.
Whether it be a salvage
Now,
yard.
these
or
decisions are
$2 million.
made by the commission. Sure. But our standpoint is, if someone wants to access our county road for whatever reason, we're gonna allow it.
Well, if they were directing it back to you guys, you know, it being your decision at the end of the day, I'm begging you, please, let's all sit down, get our I's dotted and T's crossed, figure out the process, let's make a modern solution to this problem that's not based off of something that was written on a scroll, and let's see if we can figure out a way for all of us to come to a civilized agreement to where we don't have to have any more meetings like
I
this.
do appreciate your point
Yes,
of view.
appreciate that. And can I ask if you touched base with Lost Creek to find out?
No, I
where-
haven't.
Okay. Yes, I mean, that would be where I would start myself, after you've been to our meeting and understand that we can give them access to put that road in. You may ask them, hey, do you have to open this? Is this the lane that you need? But right now, they need it so they can get, from what I understand, they're gonna get engineering out there to do their bores and all their stuff, but they don't have any access right now. Now, I do know that they're gonna go out to Hawthorne Road, but those people come with petition, don't want more traffic on their road, but you know, it never stops.
Well, I mean, we all deserve an opinion in that, I
You
think.
do, and I'm like-
Rather than you, I mean, nothing against you guys again,
Yeah.
but the three of you getting to be the deciding factor, hey, y'all can drive through the neighborhood to get into the subdivision, that's not fair.
But it's
We
county.
live there, I understand it's the policy, or it's a law, or a statute, or whatever, but at the end of the day, what if this was going through your yard? You know, if this was going through,
No, I got 3 houses going up the street, I'd rather.
yeah,
do
I
that,
know, and it's.
But they are.
It's Lost Creek
So,
Building too.
also, if you contacted, and you've probably been door to door, I know, Steve, because you've been working pretty hard on this, you've probably been door to door to all of them. You actually have had 4 or 5 people that called me directly from your area. I don't know if you go to the door and they got a different, I may tell you something different, Steve, because sometimes you can get a little aggravated at times, and I'm just putting that out there. When you go to their door, do they tell you, no, I don't want it? Because I've had 5 people call me now from Adams Road that would like to see this road put in for their, and I don't like it for that reason, but they can cut through there. Now, that's
David,
5 people from your area,
This
Steve.
is easy to prove.
I can prove that.
So-and-so, that's his name, he said that. Get the names like I give you.
But when you
the
go to
names.
their door, what do you want me to do? I'm not telling you what they tell me.
You
Would
said
you?
I have 4 people on Adams Road, give me the names of the people.
Now,
Well, I've approached a handful of people my way, and
Yes.
not one of them is in agreement of it, guys. I mean, that's.
Okay, let me, I'm done talking.
Yes.
I had one of the people that live, in the neighborhood, who lives off Trevor Court. They were involved in 2 business meetings and they could not be here, but I'm simply gonna read, he asked me, he said, will you read this for me and give them signed copies? And I want everybody to know, I'm not making I'm not gonna make a statement. I'm just gonna read this because he entrusted me to read it and I said I would. He brought it to me, I did not go. He brought it to me here at the courthouse. So, here goes. The SFC Commissioners, 6/8/21. My name is Jason Civic, and I live at 416 Trevor Court Lane in Bonne Terre, Missouri with my family. I am writing this letter to be heard as I am unable to attend the commission meeting today, and below are my accounts of my conversation with Commissioner Cater. I called Mr. Cater on 5/26/21 after hearing of a subdivision being built off of Adams Road. My conversation started by Mr. Cater telling me that a 50-house subdivision was being built and they would be accessing such building site via Adams and Rice Road. And I told him I was not in favor of this. He said he had spoke with 5 homes with Mr. Pasternak, the only one objecting. He informed me that I was not informed since I live on a private road. I felt that as my commissioner, I do have a say. Mr. Cater asked me if I had a problem with businessmen trying to develop the land, and I told him I do not. I just have some issues that are concerned. Number 1, Mr. Cater stated that the county would have to upgrade Rice Road. Why are we spending tax-paying dollars to assist a city developer? Number 2, the intersection of Adams and Hiley Lane is not wide enough for the excess traffic or large vehicles. Is the county going to pay for improvement? Number 3, why does the developer not use the access from Old Bonterre Road, where the city already has a cut-in with partial curbing? I'm sure cutting through our subdivision would, he says save, I think he meant save money to connect to the water and sewer. Number 4, has the county done a traffic assessment for the intersection at the intersection by Parkland Pharmacy and O'Reilly's Auto Parts? Mr. Cater said while he was mayor of Deloge, the state was looking into. I assume he meant into it, but he says into. Number 5, the plan is for 86 houses, not 50. At the 5/25/21 commissioner meeting, this topic was to be tabled. However, on the 26th, the road and barriers were cut and placed up. Why didn't the commission tell the developer? Number 7, I was told by Mr. Cater on numerous times that there is nothing to be done, that this is a done deal, and that I would be soon annexed into the city of Deloge. Number 8, has the county commission figured out who owned the property that this developer had cut a road through? And number 9, I asked why the city made part of Hiley Lane one way versus widening the road, and Mr. Cater said that they would have to have a tree removed, so the city listened to its residents. I feel that Mr. Cater has a conflict of interest in this matter, as he had been working with the developer prior to him being elected as SFC commissioner. The residents of Adams Road have been misled in this matter. I again do not know how the road was cut for this development, and the commission stated to table this for further resident input. Who was responsible for informing the developer? I personally felt after my 20-plus minute conversation with Mr. Cater, it felt he was working in the best interest of the developer and the city of Deloge versus the county residents that he presides over. When I am told multiple times during our phone call this was a done deal, it seems like there is more to this than we are being told. Jason Sibbett.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comments? Yes, Joy?
I just wanted to know, I thought in order for county to take the road over, it had to get up to certain specifications, meet the county specs, paving before they could take it over. And this part was, there was no paving or anything. How could they take that over?
It was an easement,
I hear it was an easement 100 times,
right?
but how did you take that easement over?
What do you mean, how do we take it over? We've maintained that easement, I know for the last 5 years since I've been here.
What did you do to maintain it?
Ditch work in Mr. Johnson's property to keep the water flowing around to the west side where the fence is at. Under Mr. Johnson's driveway, there's a culvert pipe, and that water runs on the south side of that easement. It circles around to Mr. Bullock's property.
Well, how long has that culvert been there?
Have no idea.
Because it looks brand new.
Which culvert?
I don't know.
I'm talking about the one under Mr. Johnson's driveway. The last house on the left.
Under his driveway?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no, I was talking about the one at the
I have no idea there yet.
Okay. All right, any other comments, questions, Luke?
He said it was an easement. Did the county own the easement? Yes or no?
Here's paperwork.
You may just give that to me.
Make a copy of it first.
Yeah,
That's all I
I'll do that.
have.
I'll give you guys
After
one
the
of those.
meeting, we'll give you a copy of that.
Sure.
Okay, okay, any other?
I just wanted to point out that tomorrow's event at the Long Park at the gazebo begins at 3 o'clock. And this is a culmination of bicyclists who started in Georgia that's retracing the Trail of Tears, and these 60-something bicyclists, teenagers and 20-somethings will be arriving in Farmington tomorrow around 4 o'clock. There'll be a bicentennial event and everyone's invited to it. There'll also be a genealogy person, I believe, from the Cherokee tribe who will be there. If any of these fine people consider themselves part of that tribe, you can track your genealogy at that point.
Okay, now, I was told 5 o'clock, what happens at 5?
Well, that's probably your speech.
It's not a speech, it's an invitation, but,
There's several different, from the press release that I received, there's several different things going on, beginning at 3 o'clock and then continuing to 5.
The bicyclists are at about 4.
okay. All right.
And then you've been starting.
You were early. I've got some conflicts before that, I'll try to get there. Okay. Sales tax report, up 14.23%. And Parks, I think inflation's got a lot to do with that.
No, I think we've got to remember too, though, this is trailing a month in the report.
See,
So-
I'm sorry.
But this is also trailing a month being reported, so, I mean, you gotta think is, the big jump right now is, at this time last year, there's no business going, I mean, there's just been, obviously, the economy's back open and everything else, so I think that's a big part of it.
Okay.
I think inflation is absolutely the price of everything going up right now. Good thing is, like, the other treasurers, county treasurers in the state, and I email with them, some like a lot of these areas, a lot of the counties are seeing a big increase right now, so it's great to, not just us, but the state of Missouri as well, so hopefully we continue to see these improvements.
Getting scary reports about the price of lumber and stuff. Just
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Ridiculous prices.
Yes, it is awful.
So, anyway, there's our sales tax report for the month. And that's compared to last year, which is the best year we've had to date, so. Okay, Busick Road update.
Nice.
That's beam number 5 being set, and there'll be 6 set, I guess. So
They're
they're
set.
probably all in now.
They're in.
They're in.
And so we'll be putting the cap on it pretty quick, and then
Probably,
Next
we're
week.
looking to open the road in about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Right before the approaches and
Okay.
do some dress up work, but.
Good, I talked to my guy that brings my paper every morning, he asked about it this morning at 6 o'clock. He said he has to go 10 miles extra every year to deliver 1 paper. So I said, we hope it be done by July.
It's been a burden on the school as well.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks it should be open,
Okay.
finished.
It's a much needed bridge. Thank you.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second? All in favor, aye?
Well,
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, guys.